Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So today I want us to talk about emergency funds. How much should we put in our emergency fund? So welcome. If you're new here, my name is Happy Misale. I make videos on personal finance, on money, on saving, on investments, on budgeting, on motherhood, and sometimes on the books I'm reading. So if those are topics that might interest you, please consider subscribing in the button right here. So to begin with, let's start define what an emergency fund is. An emergency fund is a stash of money that you've set aside to cover the financial surprises life throws you. These unexpected events can be stressful and costly. Some of the top emergencies people face could be a job loss, medical or dental emergency, unexpected home repairs, car troubles, and planned travel expenses. So that's what an emergency fund is. You just set aside some money just in case something happens that you did not plan for. You have some money that you can use to help you in that particular time. So the first thing that we will be asking ourselves is how much should we allocate to our emergency funds? Most experts recommend that you should put as an emergency fund anywhere between 3 months to 6 months of your living expenses. So the first step you should do is to calculate how much expenses you incur per month. So this includes all the expenses, food, utilities, whether rent, all the expenses that you incur in a month. And of course, the almost assumption is you will not include things that, if let's say today you lose your job, you will still be incurring. Maybe you will have an entertainment allowance, but the assumption is that if today you lost your job, maybe you would cut down on that entertainment. So just figure out how much your expenses are per month, and then you have to allocate between 3 months to 6 months of your living expenses as an emergency fund. The other day I was reading Dave Ramsey's book, Little Money Makeover, and Dave Ramsey recommends that the first step in an emergency fund is just to save $1,000, and then later on you'll come and save between 3 months to 6 months. So if right now you don't have any emergency fund, your first step will just be save $1,000. $1,000 might not be enough. It might not be enough to cover you for 3 months, but at least you need something, a cushion. So the first step, you just save $1,000, and then later on you save between 3 months to 6 months of your living expenses. So what are the basic principles that will guide you in deciding whether you need to save 3 months or 6 months? You should consider your emergency fund being for 3 months worth of living expenses if you tick the following categories. I've written them down here. I will just have to read. You're in a 2-income household, so maybe yourself and your partner both earn incomes. So here the assumption is maybe if you've lost your job, your partner will not be losing his job at the same time. So if this is the case, then you can just save for 3 months worth of living expenses. If you are a salaried employee, you've served in that organization for a long time, so the assumption here is that you're in a stable employment. You'll probably not be sacked off anytime. So here you can save for 3 months. You are a healthy person, you don't have any diseases that you know of. So if you're a healthy person, you can just save for 3 months. You live in a low-cost area. If the living expenses in that particular area is low, you can just save for 3 months. You don't have any dependents. You don't have kids, you don't have dependents, maybe elderly parents who are sick, then you can save for 3 months. Some of the criteria that you should consider when thinking that your emergency fund should be able to cover 6 months worth of living expenses is: 1, you have a less stable employment. Maybe your employment is contractual, it's less stable, so that is more risky, so you should have 6 months worth of living expenses. Maybe you're self-employed. If you employ yourself, the risk is higher. You should have 6 months worth of living expenses. Maybe you have some underlying conditions, you have some diseases, you're not as healthy, so this can help you decide, okay, I need 6 months living expenses just in case I fall sick now and the bills are going to become really big. So you need 6 months worth of living expenses. You have children, you have dependents, definitely you need a 6 month living expenses. Or you're the sole provider to multiple dependents. So yeah, maybe you are not in a two-income household, you are a sole provider in your household, you also have a lot of dependents. So yeah, these are really things to think about. Okay, fine, I really need an emergency fund that can cover me for 6 months just in case anything happens. So after you've already discovered that, okay, fine, maybe I need 3 months or 6 months worth of living expenses as an emergency fund, the next thing you'll be thinking about, okay, fine, where do I put this money? The thing with emergency fund is just these are funds that need to be very liquid. I mean, if you have an accident right now, it has to be money that you can access immediately. If it's something that maybe you will have to go through a lot of procedures you'll not get immediately, then it does not really serve as an emergency fund. If you maybe get an accident now, but it will take you maybe 2 weeks to get access to that money, that is not an emergency fund. It has to be something that is very liquid. So you can either put it maybe in a savings account that you can immediately withdraw in case you need this fund, or maybe a money market account that is very liquid that you can get immediately, not after some time. Yeah, because like I was reading Dave Ramsey's book, and he was saying an emergency fund is not something that you have your money and then suddenly if you need it, you start thinking, oh, but if I withdraw it now, I will be charged some things and then you can't withdraw. Or maybe you've put in stocks and then they have lost their value and then you really need that fund. You have to sell your stocks at a loss. No. This will not fit into the criteria of an emergency fund. An emergency fund is something that is very liquid. It's cash. It's extremely liquid that if you get an emergency now, you can easily access that money. So you have to think about these things. Yes, I already have the funds, but what is the best way or where I can put it that it is very accessible in case I need it. One final thing is to really have a policy or some thought about what your emergency fund will cover. You should not be using an emergency fund to maybe shop for clothes. Those are not emergencies. So I think it's really important to have, like, say a plan. Okay, fine, this is my emergency fund and these are the uses for this money, because you don't want a situation where you've saved for an emergency fund and then you're not shopping for unnecessary items. No, you really need to define what is an emergency so that even when you're withdrawing, it makes sense that you're withdrawing from the emergency fund. So that's all, guys. Those are my thoughts about having an emergency fund. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you have an emergency fund and what are the purposes of your emergency fund. If you've liked this video, please don't forget to like right here and to click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.